Hello and welcome to CATEX TV. A fire in a garment factory in Bangladesh capital Dhaka has killed at least 8 people according to officials. The blaze took place overnight in the Mirpur industrial district. It comes with the issue of industrial safety in Bangladesh under intense scrutiny following the collapse of an 8-story building last month. Last week, officials confirmed that at least 912 people had died in the previous disaster. Reports suggested that in yesterday's fire, a police officer and the owner of the factory were amongst the 8 killed. A group of lawyers representing cholera victims in Haiti has threatened to take legal action against the United Nations. The lawyers represent the victims and their families. Apparently presenting a very clear message. They say they are giving the UN an ultimatum. They have 60 days in which to admit liability to pay out compensation, or the lawyers are going to sue. The outbreak brought devastation to a population already struggling to recover from the 2010 earthquake that killed more than 300,000 people earlier that year. More than 8,000 people died and hundreds of thousands more were infected in the epidemic that followed and continued well into last year, 2012. UN peacekeepers have been repeatedly accused of sparking the outbreak, although the UN has refused to pay compensation to the families of the victims of the cholera outbreak. A cool down in the weather has calmed a huge wildfire that has been burning in southern California's coastal mountains as firefighters continue to cut kilometers of containment lines while conditions are favorable. High winds and withering, hot dry air were replaced at the weekend by the normal flow of damp air off the Pacific. 5 people are thought to have been killed when one of the Philippines' most active volcanoes erupted, throwing rocks onto a party of foreign climbers and their Filipino guides. Several members of the party were also seriously hurt following the eruption on Tuesday of Mayon volcano in the Albay province. 3 German climbers and a Filipino guide are among the dead, according to Albay provincial governor. The 2,460-meter mountain is about 340 kilometers southeast of Manila, the capital, and has erupted about 40 times in the last 400 years. Cruise ship passengers are missing in Australia. A 30-year-old man and a 27-year-old woman were discovered missing after the Carnival Spirit docked at Sydney's Circular Quay this morning. According to New South Wales Police Superintendent Mark Hutchins, he said, "We believe they have gone overboard. There's a chance they may be alive. This is a tragic event at the moment, but we're holding to hope we may be able to find these people alive." The missing passengers were a couple from New South Wales and were believed to have fallen from the ship's middeck last night. He did not reveal the circumstance of their fall, but he said that their disappearance was discovered during the routine disembarkation process, and he said the guests in question were travelling with family and friends. And finally, as we draw close to hurricane season, we're monitoring the difference in heat of the oceans between now and typical for this time of year. And what we're seeing is that the temperatures in the eastern Atlantic, which is the breeding ground for hurricanes, it's where they form, and the higher heat of the sea, surface temperatures feeds them and enables them to grow into fully fledged storms, is about 1.7 degrees centigrade above average. So it looks as if we may be on course for a quite active hurricane season in terms of number of storms. We'll be back with you same time tomorrow. Until then, thank you very much. Goodbye.